Thank you once again, my champions, for meeting with us here on this platform on Live with Chatufa. Thank you for those that continue to support this channel. Let us continue to stand together as we are fighting the battle for freedom for Zimbabwe. Emerson Mnangagwa blows millions on Sadc Chairmanship Congratulatory dinner while Zimbabwe bans. I'm telling you, family, what we have in Zimbabwe is more than just a case. ZANU-PF is more than a case to Zimbabwe and to Zimbabweans. I don't know why it is that this issue of the Sadc thing, why is it not ending? We thought that the excitement about this Sadc stuff has gotten to an end, but it seems like it's still far from ending. We don't even know and understand why ZANU-PF would always have this eagerness of using money for something else that is very anti-progress. Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF are so good at squandering money. When it comes to using money for the benefit of Zimbabwean people, they always confess that they don't have money. We've heard the officials of ZANU-PF speaking about this government wanting to buy cancer machines. But the problem is, you hear them saying that they are waiting for the tax to be collected, the 2% sugar tax that will be used to buy those cancer machines. But when they want to buy cars for chiefs or for military chiefs, they don't even wait for taxes to be collected or whatever. They just go into the pockets and dip their pockets, bring out the money and buy cars without even complaining. When you hear them talking about sanctions, it's always about something that has to benefit Zimbabweans. But when it comes to their own personal stuff and things, they have that money. You never hear them talking about not having enough money. Surely, what is it that Mnangagwa has really achieved? What has he done that really he still has to do some dinner for chairmanship of Sadc and using millions in doing so? What does this benefit ordinary Zimbabweans? You know, this is a rotational thing, for God's sake. Something that has been rotational from one country to another ever since. We never had this kind of madness. Really, I don't know what kind of spirit drives him. A destructive spirit, a spirit of poverty, a spirit that just wants to scatter and not build. And it becomes very, very, very disturbing, really, to discover that this is what we see happening in our country. We really need new leaders in Zimbabwe. Why should money continue to be used for things and for purposes that are not productive at all? What does it benefit Zimbabweans to have Mnangagwa celebrating the chairmanship and throwing out dinners where such amounts of monies will be used? What would that benefit Parenyatwa Hospital, Mpilo Hospital, Mugabe Hospital? How are these going to be helped? What does that benefit the electricity situation in the country, celebrating Mnangagwa's chairmanship? What that chairmanship anyway brought to Zimbabwe that we could say we need to be celebrating? And celebrating with who? Only ZANU-PF big wigs and their cronies are the ones that are gathering to celebrate this thing, while majority of the Zimbabwean people are starving. This is a curse. ZANU-PF is just a curse, like I've always said, to our country. And if Zimbabwe and Zimbabweans do not rise and stand up to fight for what is right, we really are not going to make it. We definitely need a new government. We need a new leadership. ZANU-PF has squandered billions and billions of money from natural resources that we have in Zimbabwe that are being squandered. Over 60 minerals that we have in Zimbabwe that are on demand, that can be sold and are being sold every day, exported out of the country, and yet the money goes into individual pockets. What will this benefit Zimbabwe? Really, family, we really need to stand up and fight. We really need to continue praying for the nation, for the intervention of the Lord in the situation that we have in our country. We have seen Sadc itself, the coming of that summit, causing Emerson Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF to claim that they've used $1.7 billion in preparation for such a Sadc summit that did not even benefit anything. Where we saw the leaders, the so-called leaders of Sadc coming in just for a few hours and flying back to their countries. Yet Mnangagwa was building so-called mansions for them. And right now, how are those mansions going to be helping Zimbabwe? They are now white elephants of structures that were not even completed. And Mnangagwa has already forgotten about them. He's running for a new business, for something else different that continues to milk money out of Zimbabwe. Family, this is very sad and this is very painful. I don't know whether this is the legacy that people like Farai Marapira are always talking about, that we are here to preserve the legacy of the liberation parties. If this is what liberation parties are all about, then it is really sad and pathetic what we continue to see happening in the nations. We really need a Sadc citizens to stand up against these thuggery and thievery liberation parties that have destroyed us and have left us poor and poorer than before. We really need to fight the oppressors of their own people. Our countries were much better under the oppression of the whites than what we are seeing happening at the hands of the black people. So why should we then be talking about any liberation? Why should we then be talking about any Pan-Africanism when Pan-Africanism is bringing more poverty and more suffering to the black people? This is really sad. This is pathetic. And we definitely need to rise up and continue to fight until victory is certain. Our fight against ZANU-PF is not just personal. It is also an issue of life and death. Because with ZANU-PF still in power, we as the Zimbabwean people will continue to perish. People are perishing in roads that are damaged. People are perishing with typhoid. People are perishing with cholera. People are perishing in hospitals that don't have our country. Family, we need new leaders. Let's continue to stand, unite, pray, and fight for what is right. Zimbabwe needs Zimbabweans to rise up to fight against the monster that is called ZANU-PF. Otherwise, this monster is not going to let us survive, let us live. Let us fight on. Victory is certain.